All right, so before we start, I just want to make sure it's really, really clear and that you're getting all the directions. Today's homework needs to be done on a separate piece of paper that you can attach to your packet. There's just way too much work that's going to need to be done for you to be able to squeeze it into that teeny tiny little space. I am expecting to see work shown, okay? I know that you can just type these into your calculator if you're really, really careful, but like we keep talking about, we are trying to practice some specific skills and build some good habits for later on in this class. I'm sorry, I've got the hiccups. So, I want you to really practice today trying to use that really good algebra language and listing out every single step that you possibly can, so we can kind of practice that a little bit for when we get to some of the harder stuff. So if all you have to turn in is just answers, you are not going to get full credit. All right. That being said, what we're looking at today is the order of operations, and I'm sure that you were taught to remember that using PEMDAS. So we have P, E, and then M and D are of the same importance, and A and S are of the same importance. So I want to talk a little bit about what each of these things is. I know that we say that P stands for parentheses, but what's really important here is that P stands for any grouping symbol. Anything that combines numbers into a group is going to be in this category of parentheses. So some examples of what I mean here would be like absolute value bars. The absolute value of 2 minus 5, that would count as a grouping symbol. If I have a fraction bar, maybe I have something like 2 plus 6 divided by 4. Even though there's not parentheses there, the fraction bar tells us we have to do the 2 plus 6 first. So you want to watch out for that because parentheses are not the only other kind. We can also have square brackets instead of rounded parentheses, or you can have these squiggly looking braces. Those are also types of grouping symbols. So be careful for that, okay? Exponents come next, and that's pretty easy. Just do whatever the exponents tell you to do. And then for multiplication and division, you always go left to right. So you don't always do multiplication first. You read the problem like a sentence. If when you're reading from left to right, you get to division first, then division is what you do first. If you get to multiplication first, multiplication is what you do first. And addition and subtraction are the same way. We've decided that they are of equal importance, so we just do those in the order that they appear. So let's look at a couple of examples before you start working on your homework. We have 2 plus 12 divided by 2 plus 1. Again, if we think of our order of operations, I'm going to keep this off to the side, sort of like a checklist, just for this first problem. So we look for parentheses or grouping symbols, and I don't see any, so that one's done. Check it off. Then I check for exponents. Again, I don't see any, so I can check that off. Now we're going to work from left to right looking for multiplication or division. And the only thing I see is right here I have division. So that's what I have to do first. I haven't done anything to the 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then I haven't done anything to the 1. Now all we have left is addition, so again, we just go left to right. 2 plus 6 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9 is our final answer. Here's another example that has some more stuff. So we start first. Are there any parentheses? I don't see any, so we can move on. Then we look for exponents, and we see here that we have a 4 squared. So I'm going to do that first. Nothing else has changed yet. 4 squared is 16 divided by 8. Then I'm going to look for multiplication or division, left to right. So first I have this multiplication. I'm going to do that. 12 times 3 is 36 plus 16 divided by 8. Still looking left to right. Now I see division. So 36 plus 16 divided by 8 is 2. And now all I have left is addition. So we get 38. Here's an example with yet even more stuff, and there's something really important that I want to point out about this one. So, parentheses first. I do have stuff inside grouping symbols, so that's where I'm going to start. Nothing else is changing. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 minus negative 4 squared. Now I look for exponents, and I do have exponents right here. Now, this is super, super important if you're going to put exponents in your calculator. If you put, I can't remember if we've talked about this already or not. If you put negative 4 squared like this in your calculator, the calculator is going to give you the wrong answer. The calculator is not wrong. You told it the wrong thing to do. Because the right way to type it in your calculator is you have to put parentheses around the negative 4. Otherwise, it thinks you're squaring a positive 4 and not a negative 4. So you have to make sure you have those parentheses. Anyhow, when I do that, you can probably hear my dog running around, sorry. When you square negative 4, that basically means negative 4 times negative 4, which gives us positive 16. The minus is not because it's negative. The minus is because I had this minus in front of it. That's where this minus came from. Okay? Now you see we have a bunch of subtraction, but I hope you also notice that right here in the middle, I have our broken down plus, 2 minuses in a row. So this is really a plus right here. So when I go from left to right, remember a negative and a negative, like a negative, sorry, let me say this again. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So when we get here, I look at negative 4 plus 4, which gives me 0, because that battle is perfectly even. They're all going to end up out. Minus 16, and now 0 minus 16, negative 16 is your answer. Last example, this one has the most steps out of any of the ones we've looked at. So we're going to start and see if there's anything inside parentheses. Here there is. So we have 7 times 2. Don't forget that parentheses there is multiplication now. Now there's not a problem inside there, but this shows us that there is multiplication, 7 times 2, plus 6 squared divided by negative 3. Now we look for exponents, and I have some right here. So we have 7 times 2 plus 6 squared, which is 36, divided by negative 3. Now we're on to multiplication and division, so we go left to right. Multiplication is first. 14 plus 36 divided by negative 3. Then I see I have division still, so I'm going to do that. And I get 14 plus 36 divided by negative 3 is going to be negative 12. And now I just have addition to do. 14 plus negative 12 gives me positive 2. All right? Now, when you do your assignment tonight, you can use your calculator, but I want you to do each individual step. So, for example, if you needed to do 36 divided by negative 3 in your calculator, totally fine. But what I don't want you to do is type the entire problem from the beginning into your calculator. So, separate sheet of paper, as much work shown as you possibly can, and that's your assignment for today. Don't forget that you have a quiz tomorrow.